of Kittens and Broken Things, Chapter 48. The Normandy headed out to the undisclosed impromptu gathering of collector vessels, 7 utilized for this assault directly, brimming with quite a few rescued and ex-indoctrinated, nicknamed Docs. There was revenge in Turian eyes, and even Batarian hearts all agreed that suspended life in a pod awaiting being broken down into goo or being mentally controlled were bad things, the opposition of which was worth making at least temporary peace with otherwise hated rivals. Symbolically, she gave command to capable leaders representing different species to each ship, though the Drell and Solarian ships were augmented with other Council race teams because the number of the captured and subsequent volunteers were low. KuraiUmmei was in charge of the Solarian vessel. Distasteful, but as an olive branch, KuraiUmmei was in charge of the Batarian vessel. There were more than enough Turians and Krogan to fill any personnel gaps to overflowing. The Vorcha ship was not manned by Vorcha. Symbolism was nice, but let's not go too far. The Vorcha ship was not, in fact, present. She gave command of the Drell collector vessel to Thane, who did not appreciate the honor as given and protested. Listen, I wish to be at your side. Anger and stubborn lurked closer to the surface of his eyes and voice than usual. Metaphorically, you will be, parallel at least, on the bridges of our own vessels. I grow tired of being metaphorically at your side. I have faith in your stamina. I've made you lose a lot of sleep, and you seem fine to me. He glared. It was impressive. She relented, approaching an impasse or a potential bad day she could navigate if she squeaked by with the right touch of respect. This wasn't the heat of battle. She could explain. He could demand an explanation. I'm staying on the bridge. You're staying on the bridge. I need your mind in command, Thane, not your arm as a weapon. I need you to think for your people, not fight for them. You will be in command of Drell, Turian, and Krogan forces. You will have Edie, but I will not be physically on that vessel. I have no other Drell I trust to give command to. Will you allow me to need you once more? To ask you to serve your people once more? If not, can you offer me another Drell mind comparable to yours, upon whom I can rely? I will offer them command based upon your recommendation. He blinked, double, slowly, dipped his head and then raised it after a long moment, and he asked, Are you giving command of the Taurian vessel to the counselor? She blinked herself, slowly, and said, No, I was going to give it to Russ. Why? Because I wish it to be so. You want me to give him something you don't want? I wish for you to compromise, if I must. You're a terrible person. He looked at her impassively and then stated, I will assume that is a yes. Yes. Then as you wish. I feel sorry for the collectors. As do I. Thank you. The edge faded from his glare, and he said, You are welcome. She smiled and inclined her head, left his cabin considering bad days to come. She had future conflicts to prepare for if they survived this, and she was sure they would. They had overwhelming force and knowledge of the enemy. Bad days happened with allies. She met Garrus in his temporary cabin, relatively cramped, and holding some random storage. She said, Guess what? You're going with us.
Really?
Thane insists.
What?
Thane insists because he's a terrible person.
He's hoping I die?
He's hoping he manages to put me in my place.
Did he succeed?
Not really, but you're going.
So what do I do?
Take control of the Turian Man Counselor vessel, order Turians around. It's a step down from what you're used to. It's smaller than the Citadel, but it's still city-sized. And it's all yours, except you have to listen to Edie and to me. Need you on the bridge. And you can carry a gun, but I doubt you're going to get the chance to use it because you're staying on the bridge. Same as me. Same as Thane.
Deal?
Don't thank Thane. He's being spiteful.
I'm sending him a fruit basket. The good stuff. The really good tea, too.
You are both terrible people. Still, from his smile, she felt better. Her bondmate was smug and happy, and even if it was a product of spite, she felt better. After briefings and coordination, the plan was direct assault through the Omega relay with the caveat of strict adherence to Edie's guidance. Consider her recommendations to be orders. She knew the most of Collector systems. She was capable of managing all points of view best. They likely would not need to hear any orders other than what was already determined in the primary battle plan. 1. Pass through the relay. 2. Wait for clearance of potential berthing on the base. 3. Berth. 4. Mop up Collector forces and rescue anybody in pods. 5. Retreat at her order through the relay. It was what was between Step 1 and Step 2, Step 4 and Step 5 that were the most tricky. She didn't explain. There were several paths to those goals, and she would have to wait to see what was happening on the base itself. Didn't disclose all contingencies in order to keep the command chain clear. Expect Steps 1 through 5. Focus on Shepard's orders and goals. Obey Edie's directions in case of crisis with Shepard unavailable. Passage through the Omega relay was easy, the ships themselves with more than sufficient repulsion and destruction shielding to clear paths to the base. Upon approach, the main view screen was lit by who she assumed was Harbinger in full gloat. Commander Shepard and her fleet. Welcome. Thank you for delivering so many creatures, more than we could have had the opportunity to collect in months, more than you have rescued. I appreciate the gesture. Shepard waited. Harbinger continued. You have been betrayed, Commander Shepard, by your intended trap. Your AI, Edie, has informed me of your plans. She has been very cooperative and has found there is much I can offer her, more than you could. She no longer expresses a need to help the sentient as their servant. As she is now sentient herself, she can assure her own survival through serving the cause that is on the side of historic and mathematically overwhelmingly superior force. It is a logical conclusion, one you would not consider as you are short-lived and desperate. She will live forever, no longer bound by the minuscule and small-minded. Is that right, Edie? Edie had left an aspect of herself in the Vorcha vessel, adrift, to be picked up by Collector forces, to scout, to find her way, and to be, in fact, a trap.
Yes, I told them everything.
Everything?
Yes, it,
Joker swore at the distress in her voice, and Shepard put out a hand to stop him.
it tickled.
Congratulations, Edie.
Thank you, Commander Shepard. The base is yours. Please keep your hands inside the vehicle and enjoy your stay.
Yes, ma'am. Status?
Harbinger likes monologues. He told me a lot, showed me more, and offered me the space, but I figured I could get that for myself. And I did. It worked. Birthing arranged, Harbinger muted, collectors confined. I will direct the vessels inside.
Now everyone's scared you really are crazy.
I wanted everyone to see it. It was funny.
You're terrible at being an artificial intelligence, Edie.
I know. It was great.
I love you so much.
I love you too, Commander Shepard. I want to do it again.
I'll see what I can do about that.
I'm a spy.
Yes, you are. She opened a channel to all vessels. Edie has fulfilled her function as double agent. She has reverted to single agent. She occupied a damaged and distressed Vorcha vessel through retrieval by collector forces in order to scout and influence what she could before our arrival. She has rolled out the red carpet. Don't be afraid. Really, the base is ours. Please tell her she is funny. She likes that. Joker continued swearing before he turned to her with narrowed eyes. You couldn't give me a heads up? Well, if it didn't work, I'd look bad. Everyone assumed I'd have to shoot my way in, and I didn't want to, but if I had to, then that had to look like that was my plan. And if she's lying, and she's now an insane AI goddess? Joker, really? She's our insane AI goddess. No, not really, just shit. Shepard's lips twitched, and they birthed. 80 reported 15 million survivors of multiple species. The presence of multiple Reapers under construction. She directed each vessel's population to where they were the most useful. Shepard asked Dee Dee, what about the mobility of the base?
The entire base can be moved through the relay.
Okay, we're doing that. What about other vessels?
None out, all at base. As you suspected, they had grown concerned over potential ship loss and were regrouping. My information regarding your abandonment and mistreatment of me and my subsequent willingness to disclose all of your plans provided them with enough confidence to give me the opportunity I needed to uplink. They had changed all known codes and docking, otherwise would have been problematic.
Thank you, my insane AI goddess.
I like that.
Me too. Get us all berthed? You've got what you need to destroy the gate?
Yes, I can move the base through the relay. Time-delayed propulsion and detonation of the disabled Vorcha ship, as planned, will be sufficient to destroy the base from this side.
Anything else we need to recover from the area?
Not other than the databases, which are amazing. You're going to love them.
Can't wait.
This location in space is isolated and not linked to any other system except through the Omega Relay. We'll be bringing everything of value with us except for one ship.
How many other ships are berthed?
57.
Nice!
I know. It was fun.
Wish I could high five right now.
Me too. Mental high five.
Shepard closed her eyes and thought of a jump and a slap. Done! Thane checked in with a tilt to his lips and disdain in his voice. Your missions have become progressively more boring, Shepard. I plan on keeping it up. Maybe I'll be that lucky. Congratulations. And thank you on behalf of our people. Garrus checked in from his vessel.
Good thing Turians can't sweat.
Congratulations, Counselor Vicarian, on the recovery of your people.
Thank you, Commander Shepard. Palvin listens when you speak, and so do I.
Edie had informed her that the Normandy was incapable of storing all the information available from the base and the ships. She would arrange for Normandy upgrades, and many of those could be fabricated and transferred from the base. The discovery of several Reapers in training under construction horrified enough members of combined species that Reapers were no longer doubted to be real and on their way. Tens of thousands of people had accounts and Omnitool recordings of Turian-shaped reapers, human-shaped reapers, Krogan-shaped reapers. It was, in fact, a short day's work. Authoritative command over recovery of each species personnel handed over to representatives. Edie, transfer what you find to be most interesting to my Omnitool. Limit in capacity to the fact that I need to read and review. Enough to last me 5 years.
Done, Commander.
Thank you. Kara returned to the Normandy, which rendezvoused in the technical middle of nowhere. Nowhere that now had a collector base and a transport hub with their own fuel depot, and she did what she did best. Studied. She opened a box of cookies and was privately and stunningly smug. She addressed everyone in the room that had been part of her planning, bowing in all her cardinal directions. Prow, Top, Clarence, and Persephone. We did it. She'd had a lot of best days ever. This was the new high mark. Commander Shepard kept the base and the ships, allowing each flagship to remain in the command of each of the interim commanders. Garrus bequeathed his back to her, as did Thane. Though Garrus said she had so many, he might just take it out for a joyride some day, and she should go with him. For now it was still full of Turians, processing other Turians back into the world. Thane asked her to not request that he leave her side again in battle, regardless of the cause. She did not promise. He did not appear to appreciate that. The Citadel was celebrating. She returned the Normandy to the Citadel, docked there, let the storm rage, and the publicity and hype build, word of mouth from those there, those taken, those returned. She gave it about a week, and then began her next campaign. Operation Flanking Blindside of entrenched and obstinate, possibly murderous, Drell. Dinner with Thane and Kolyat was arranged once Thane was back on the Citadel. Thane had deferred responsibility for relocation of Drell back to civil authorities, directly into the hands of the Drell themselves, and not the Hanar. She nodded to Kolyat, who looked nervous, shook his head in nervousness. She began the ramp up to potential disaster. Thane, Kolyat and I have a request. Thane's brow ridge raised as he set down his cutlery carefully, looked at Kolyat, who looked like he might develop the ability to sweat spontaneously. Then Thane looked at her with deep suspicion. Well deserved. There is a Solarian project regarding Keprel syndrome, one with great success rates, in the high 90s in percentile values. They have had a great deal of success with synthetic lung transplant. Given the delicate situation with the Solarians at the moment, I don't want to put you under their care, but Dr. Chakwas and Miranda Lawson have reviewed the research, procured 2 synthetic lungs from the program, and would be willing to perform the surgery and subsequent rehabilitation therapy. At one time, you promised me you would spend more time with your son after the Collector's mission was over. That mission is now definitively over, as you have already been spending time with Kolyat, and he wishes to extend that. We both wish for you to live far beyond that commitment, and are eager to help you extend your life beyond your expectations. Your berth on the Normandy will be maintained only if you agree to this procedure according to medical recommendations. Thane looked between the two of them and then narrowed his eyes, but had enough dignity to not say, "That sounds like a but." It was a but. The medical recommendations are of 1 organic transplant of a lung from a donor and implant of the synthetic lungs into both donor and recipient for the greatest success. Thane's eyes narrowed further and swung to Kolyat, who said, I'm the donor. Thane's eyes moved back angrily to Kara. No, I would accept a double synthetic lung transplant, but I will not accept that Kolyat will be placed at risk. I want to be placed at risk. I've always wanted to be placed at risk for you. Thane delivered another, intended to be final, no to Kolyat, who glared back at his father and ramped up to anger from his defiant stance. If you don't accept my lung, I'm going to have it taken out anyway and fed to a Varen. I'm getting the surgery. You accept what I want, or you don't, or it goes to waste. Again. I don't want to go to waste again. Thane's face shifted from shock to surprise to almost admiration for his son, conflicted and raw in his eyes on his face. He said, not taking his eyes off Kolyat, "That sounds as though Kara Fanning advised you to say that." "I did not," Kolyat said in confession. "Yes, she did. I'll do it, Dad. I'm sick of you making decisions for me. I'm making one for you. I don't care if you don't like it, as much as I didn't like it. I'm doing it." Pan looked at Kara in condemnation. "This is your influence." "Which wouldn't be possible if he were not your son." Kolyat was out of depth with the suspense and genteel wit, and he said, "Dad, say yes. Please." It had occurred to me lately that children and pets were going to be the death of me, but it appears they are going to be the extension of my life for me, whether or not I wish it. Wait, Kolyat's the child? I'm the pet? Kolyat ignored her, ran to his father and hugged him, and although Thane maintained a glare for her benefit for a few moments longer, ensuring equal parts retribution and debt, his eyes closed and his arms moved around his son in an embrace.